my name is Erica Lynn. I have been a cheerleader and dancer for approximately 12 years now, and flexibility has been one of my greatest talents in both. So I get a lot of people asking me questions about how do you get your splits, how do you get such a good stretch, how do you just improve flexibility overall and all. But before we get started with that, I think it's really important to teach you guys the 5 huge things that are preventing you from developing your flexibility further. After we clear those up, you will notice a drastic improvement in your flexibility without having to try that hard, without having to stretch or do any of that. So without further ado, let's get started. Number 1 reason why people aren't more flexible: posture. Before you go off and say that I'm crazy for saying that, just answer these questions. 1. Do you slouch? 2. Do you lean against the back of the chair? 3. Do you find it much more uncomfortable to sit on a bench than a chair? If you answered yes to any of those questions, that is actually a huge reason as to why you are not more flexible than you are now. Try to remember biology class from who knows way back when. The skeleton spine was like this. Was the skeleton spine like this? I didn't think so. When you slouch, basically you're trying to go from straight to parentheses. Believe it or not, by slouching, you are constricting muscles in your lower back, your shoulders, and your neck to all go forward, and you're causing them to actually sort of permanently cramp themselves into that position. And that's why most people find slouching to be more comfortable than to sit up straight. That means just going back to sitting up straight, let alone doing a back bend or a straight leg scorpion or splits or anything like that. Just sitting up straight is going to be really hard for you if you're so used to slumping forward. Now on the flip side, if you take that same slouch and you roll everything backwards back to where it's supposed to be, fix your spine, sit up straight, your lower back, squeeze your core, engage, roll your shoulders back, and put your chin up. So this may feel really awkward to you at first. Well, the truth is you're actually stretching a lot of muscles that you didn't even realize existed. You will notice a dramatic improvement in how you feel, as well as your flexibility in your lower back, your shoulders, and your neck. You're no longer constricting those muscles forward, and you are no longer limiting your movement in those areas. The second reason why people aren't more flexible than they could be: muscle tension, overuse, and tightness. Have you ever tried to stretch really hard after a very tough workout? I'm talking straddles, splits, pikes, the whole 9 yards, because I've tried that before. It's really hard. When you keep working out over and over again, especially really intensely, you're basically putting more stress on your body. It's just going to become harder for you to A, keep working out, B, stretch, and C, just function in general. Here's a good analogy. You're a full-time student or full-time worker, and you are stressed out because you have so much on your plate that you can't make time for doing the things you really want to do. Now imagine if you did this as a solution. What if you take up an extra part-time job on the side that doesn't pay very much, but it's something you really like to do? Do you think that's a very good strategy for de-stressing yourself? I don't think so. All you are doing is packing more into your to-do list, not de-stressing yourself, and probably not enjoying doing the things that you really want to be doing. It's the same with working out and stretching. The more you work out, the harder it is going to be to incorporate a stretch routine into your fitness plan. It's not about having time, but it's about having your body's capacity and ability to do those movements. What you want to be doing is just toning it down on that high intensity training and devoting more time to stretching. Which leads me to my third reason why people aren't as flexible as they could be: limited movement and limited forms of exercise. As a kid, I had always done tons of different sports and activities. For instance, when I was 6 years old, I started cheerleading and dance. And then when I was 7, I got really into swimming. A couple years later, I also got into tennis and softball and diving. Summer vacations, winter vacations, I got to do a lot of different activities. So I would go canoeing and kayaking or bike riding, or I'd go snowboarding and skiing. So I got to do a whole array of different kinds of exercises and movements, and I stayed really, really active overall. Now, most people I know, especially as they get older, don't really change up their exercise routine that much. They might say they do, like they might do high intensity cardio training or go on machines at the gym or have a weight training program, and they may even alternate on certain days. However, that's actually not really what I consider exercise variety. By only doing a couple different kinds of things and in a couple different categories, really limiting your movements, and you're not getting to stretch out different muscles of your body. So basically, just by changing up your exercise and doing different sorts of activities, you will notice a huge improvement in your flexibility overall. If you're not sure where to start, just start out by doing maybe 2 things that are new per week. For instance, if you've never gone to jazz dance class before, go to jazz. Or if you're normally a runner, try going for a swim. Or maybe do something completely out of the ordinary, like go mountain biking or go bungee jumping. No, don't go bungee jumping, and do not go hang glide over active volcanoes. But you know what I mean. Just do something different, and you'll actually notice you're going to be working brand new muscles. While you might not always be sore and tired afterwards every time, you actually are really improving your stretch and working different areas of your body that honestly you probably never even knew existed. Now, with all that said, people do ask me whether or not the way your body's natural build has anything to do with your flexibility. And the short answer is yes, it does to a certain extent. See, if you have a back problem like scoliosis, that means your spine is actually shaped either more like this or like this rather than this. And that means you're naturally inclined to possibly arch in a certain direction. For instance, even though I don't have full-blown scoliosis because my curvature is under 30 degrees, I do have a sort of bend forward, so my spine goes like this instead of like this, and it also goes a little bit to the side as well. So that means I'm actually naturally inclined to arch my back more than most people are. I also physically can't really slouch because of that, because my back is naturally going back like that instead of up straight. That's why I say posture is extremely, extremely important when it comes to flexibility, because when you slump everything forward, you're constricting your bones and your muscles a ton just to get it back aligned to where it's supposed to be in a straight line. That's already going to take effort. And when you actually try to arch your back and go backwards and do splits and all of that, it's just going to be even more painful because you're used to going completely in the opposite direction rather than just in the middle where it's supposed to be. And the 5th reason why people aren't as flexible as they could be, they don't think stretching is very fun. Yes, you heard me, stretching can be fun. Most people think stretching has to do with doing splits or sitting in straddles or doing lots of jumps and things like that, but that's not really true. See, as a cheerleader and dancer, I have many, many ways to showcase my talent for stretching and splits and all of that. I would choreograph solos that had a lot of kicks and leaps and turns and split jumps. As a cheerleader, I was a flyer, so I really got to do a lot of that stuff, you know, like scorpion scales, needles, bow and arrows, TikToks, all that in the air, and I had so much fun doing that. Now, I know I was naturally kind of born more flexible than most people are, but I really do believe the true thing that cultivated my personal ability to stretch was the fact that I loved it and I got really into it. Luckily, this summer I am releasing a whole slew of videos on how to improve your stretch, really easy things you can do to become more flexible, and as well as teach you some dances that will improve your flexibility. Yes, you heard me right. There are dances you can do to improve your stretch. And I'm really, really, really excited to share these with you. So that pretty much concludes my video on the top 5 reasons why people aren't as flexible as they are. If you have any other questions or need advice, leave a comment below or tweet me at Erica Lynn Cheer on Twitter. And make sure that you are subscribed to my channel and stay tuned for more updates on when my videos are going to be released and what topics I will be covering. So until then, I'll see you guys later.